Honestly, if you haven't even watched Grand Army yet, what are you doing? Hey y'all, so in today's video, I am going to be giving you my top Netflix recommendations. So the first movie is called The American Assassin. It stars Dylan O'Brien, and he is known for playing Styles Stilinski in the show Teen Wolf. American Assassin, it is an action movie, and Dylan O'Brien, what is his character's name? Mitch? I forgot. He's on vacation with his girlfriend, and there's a group of terrorists that comes and just shoot up everyone on the island, and of course they shoot his girlfriend. So the entire movie, he basically trains himself to go after the leader of that terrorist group. Later on in the movie, he begins working with the CIA because they are also trying to track down the same guy. And when I tell you, it is so good. It is so unpredictable. Michael Keaton is also in the movie along with Sanaa Lathan, and it's a great movie. The next movie on my list is a scary movie. I'm the type of person that can watch scary movies and documentaries based on serial killers at night by myself. That's what I do. And then I have to watch an episode of Teletubbies right after that, or Dragon Tales. This next movie is called The Autopsy of Jane Doe. Bro. So this movie is based on a dead woman's body. No one knows how she died, where she came from. They obviously don't know her name. In the beginning of the movie, her dead body is found at like this house or somewhere, and all the people, I'm gonna try not to give it away, all the people that were at that house were found dead. Jane Doe's body was like, she was already dead before those people were, if that makes any sense. So once like the cops and the FBI get involved, they take Jane Doe's body to like this family morgue owned by this dad and his son, so they work together. The entire movie is so suspenseful because she has marks and bruises on her body, so they can only determine like her cause of death by those, but there's also like things on the inside of her body that it's just really hard to explain how she could have died, and like the torture that her body went through. You just gotta watch it. I can't even give it away, because if I keep talking, then I'm gonna give it away. But the entire movie is based on this Jane Doe. Where did she come from? Who is she? Who did this to her body? What happened? They uncover like some historical and religious like activities that she could have been a part in that caused her to end up the way she like died, basically. And then people started dying. The next movie is Mile 22. First of all, let me just say that Mark Wahlberg is in this movie, and he is such a dad. Yeah, Mark Wahlberg and Ronda Rousey are the main two people that I know. It's a small CIA group that is designed to basically just kill bad people. They bust open this Russian safe house. They end up killing, well, they killed all of them essentially. But one of the guys that were killed, he was the son of this famous Russian like mobster, queen pin, somebody that you don't want to mess with. They kill him. Fast forward to a couple of months later, the CIA people, they are at this embassy somewhere in like Indonesia or somewhere, and this man, Leonor, I think is what his name is called, he shows up to the embassy with this disc that everybody like wants. The only way he's willing to give them the disc and the password to it is if they put him on a plane and like fly him out of the country. I can't remember exactly where he wanted to go, but they make a deal that as long as they get him safely out of the country, he would give them the password to the disc and they will unlock it. You gotta watch it to find out the rest. It's a lot of fighting, it's a lot of bombs, it's a lot of ass kicking. It is good. The Mind of Aaron Hernandez. Let me just say that this documentary made me stop being so big of a football fan. This is a very short docu-series, by the way. It's only 3 episodes long. Throughout the docu-series, you have like his former coaches, his friends, and some of his family members that are interviewed. So Aaron Hernandez was sentenced life to prison after he killed his friend. Without giving too much away, it basically shows how Aaron Hernandez grew up a certain type of way. He always loved football. His dad pushed him to play football, and I really like how this documentary, it shows how athletes are so fed. They're so fed with fame and money, and they get big-headed, and athletes are insane. They become so conceited and think that they are like on top of the board. They could do anything and get away with it. So there were so many things that Aaron Hernandez had done in his life. He shouldn't have been able to play football to even begin with. Should have like not even made it that far in college, to be honest. The toxic masculinity in football, amongst other sports too. Football definitely takes the cake. The Kalief Browder story. Kalief Browder grew up in the Bronx in New York. He was on trial for 3 years in the absolute worst prison. He was 16 years old when he was accused of the crime of stealing someone's backpack. This man spent 3 years in prison. 2 of them, 2 years he spent in solitary confinement on Rikers Island. If you've never heard of Rikers Island, it is hell on earth. It is a very moving documentary. It shows how even when he was in solitary confinement, he talks about his personal experiences with mental health and how even when he was set free, like when he was able to leave, and he's very consistent on not ever pleading guilty because he didn't commit that crime. He never stole a backpack. He only fit the description, and that's all that matters. If you fit the description, they're gonna lock you up. And it was so sad to see how this man like continued to just stay hopeful and always look for the best. He went back to school, he got his GED, he went to college, and like solitary confinement in general should not always be a go-to solution, because it is not a solution. When he got out of jail, out of Rikers Island, he definitely struggled a lot with his mental health. No matter how hard he tried to do things that he enjoyed, to like start being closer with his mom and things, it is definitely hard to watch. Ted Bundy was a serial killer who killed and raped multiple women and little girls in the middle of the 1970s. Zac Efron did such an amazing job in this documentary. First of all, not only did he play the role, like he really looked like Ted Bundy. He didn't even need makeup. His hair, his facial features. And some of the scenes in this documentary, side to side by the interviews that Ted Bundy were actually in, they mirror each other. That's how good Zac is. It was so scary. It almost made me not like him anymore. That's how good he was. One of my favorite scenes is when Ted's like most recent girlfriend, pretty sure they had broken up by this point, so Ted's like ex-girlfriend, she went to go see him in jail and she wanted him to confess. She was always a bit suspicious, but she never said anything to him about it, and she just wanted him to come clean. During this scene, I'm just gonna insert the clip because it's so heartbreaking that she had to know that he was out here killing and raping women and then coming home to her. That was one of my favorite scenes. And another one was when like the reporter was interviewing this one college student, and she was just talking about how she couldn't believe that Ted Bundy would be convicted as a serial killer when he's in law school and he's so handsome and charming and good looking. And I'm just like, yeah, that's about right. On my block, Jamal. Jamal is my favorite character. He is so funny. It's a show about these high schoolers trying to find their way through high school and with love and relationships, while also going on like little missions, like doing things that normal teenagers wouldn't really do. Like, and it doesn't just focus on one character, it focuses on all of them and how their personal lives are at home. They go on like some very interesting adventures, and it's so funny. Haunting of Hill House. This is a show that you need to watch at least 3 or 4 times to like actually catch on to things and to see the real meaning behind certain things. The Haunting of Hill House is this family of 5 kids, and the Hill House is haunted, but their parents never believe the kids when they say they see ghosts and see certain things that happen in the house. Every kid experiences a different life, so they all have different memories from living in the Hill House. When they grow up and they get older, they are still haunted by these memories from living in that house. Throughout the entire season, it gives you different perspectives on each of the kids' lives and the different ghosts that haunts them. Mindhunter. This is a very sci-fi, suspenseful thriller type of show. It is about 2 FBI agents start this study to interview some of the most famous serial killers. The FBI agents are taking all of this information, putting it into a study so that they can determine how to catch the next serial killer. or like how to determine the same characteristics or similar characteristics between serial killers so that they can catch them head on, something like that. A couple of the serial killers that are in this show are Ed Kemper, Charles Manson, Wayne Williams, and the BTK Strangler. This is a British series. It is based in the UK. So basically this woman, she always has on a baseball cap and she is the stranger. The show starts right there. This woman, she goes up to this man and tells him that she knows his secret. The man's wife ends up going missing and he basically has to figure out like where is she and if she went missing on purpose or if it has something to do with his secret. And throughout like every single episode, there's a new person that she approaches to let them know that she knows their secret. They have to somehow come clean about this secret or do what's right, otherwise she's gonna expose them. And yeah, that's it. It's good, just go watch it. Sex Education. So Sex Education is also a British series, and the show is about Otis and how he eventually sees himself as a sex therapist. This show is so diverse and full of life. It is funny. It is funny. Give it a try. Grand Army. It's a show similar to 13 Reasons Why, but it is not as graphic. So it showcases the lives of 5 different teenagers that attend Grand Army High School. One of the characters deals with being sexually assaulted by her friend, and she struggles with finding herself again and confronting her friends about it and also taking legal action. It's not too graphic, but the graphics are there. The show touches on sexual assault, drugs, peer pressures of just like being in school in general and wanting to be popular. It touches on stereotypes. I'm gonna just say that. Racial stereotypes, religious stereotypes. It also touches on police brutality and the Black Lives Matter movement. So if you ain't watched the show yet, what are you doing? Down to Earth is this docu-series of adventures with Darren Olean and Zac Efron. Darren Olean is just all-star, top of the notch, vegan, eco-friendly guy. He and Zac Efron, in every single episode of this show, they travel to a new island, a new country. He is taking Zac Efron on like all of these different adventures and just like showing him how other people are living and how great and healthy it is to eat certain things or like their way of living compared to the American way of living. Every country or town and island that they're going to, they're also like helping give back. Vampire Diaries. It is a vampire show with Stefan and Damon and Elena and Bonnie and Caroline, and there are 8 seasons. In every season there's a new villain, and it's a lot of stuff that goes on. If you like Teen Wolf or Twilight, you probably like Vampire Diaries. Valhalla Murders. Somewhere on the remote island in Iceland, it was this little institution for troubled kids, mostly for boys. It was an all-boys school, and it's basically where boys went if they got kicked out of school, if their parents sent them there because they weren't like obedient in the house. At this institution, these boys were beaten and abused by the staff, and they never told anyone about it. Fast forward to like a couple of years later, some of the boys are like coming up missing and dead. And there's a detective. She has to tie these murders together and figure out why is there such a big like symbol. She has to connect the dots. She's like the main one that's really interested in finding the killer, finding like who's leaving these clues behind. It is so good because she discovers who the killers are, and it just hits close to home. Okay, if you can't tell by now, I love European shows. So Quicksand showcases on the main character. The main character is Maya. It showcases on her life and how she was in a toxic relationship with her boyfriend, Sebastian, and goes into detail about how their relationship results to this school shooting. And that's all I'm gonna say about it. That is the end of my Netflix recommendations. Please go watch some of these shows or movies because they're really good. Hope y'all enjoyed them. If you did, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe.